For 28 years, I was the Secret Service agent protecting the President of the United States. I protected 7 different presidents. Before that, I was a Marine Corps officer, leading some of the finest young men and women on the front lines. And what I saw was the same enemy pulling triggers as the same enemy confusing our children, breaking up our marriages, and corrupting our political and corporate structures. And I would just have none of it. You know, God had called me to stand in the gap between light and dark for years, and it's the same calling now, just different paychecks. We get plenty of the adversary's work every time we flip on a screen, right? Like, I don't have to convince any of you brothers here of what happens when godly men and women do not step into their calling. We're left with people who are simply hungry for influence and greed and power and money. And what we get from that are toxic ripple effects in every part of our lives. So CBMC steps in and confronts this broken world order. That's what it is. We're confronting a broken world order. We're stepping into a place, a lion's den, essentially, and saying, hey, by the way, there's different choices that can be made. If you're a Christian, that's fine. Keep your mouth shut. Keep it to your church and in your home. I rebuke that. That's from the enemy. That's from the adversary. Last thing in the world the enemy wants is strong men of God stepping into their roles of impact. Saying, as for me and my house, we serve the Lord. Oh, and by the way, as for me and my business, we serve the Lord. As for me and my neighborhood, my community, my nation, we serve the Lord. I rebuke you, enemy, right? He doesn't want that. Because we begin putting boot prints on his gates, and he hates it. We were given 2023. Not so we could allow a spirit of timidity to cower us, but rather that we may step into our destiny. And every person here, every single one of us here has been uniquely crafted with skill sets, passions, abilities, influences, communication skills, right? Every person here is like a diamond with facets that no one else has. Like your failures, no one else has those. Your victories, the way you talk, how you engage people, your family history, no one else has the same combination that you do. And because of that, you are uniquely capable of making an impact in this community and in this nation that no one else has. I don't blame darkness. Darkness will occupy every sphere that the light of Christ does not engage. That's what it does. But as we begin to step into that, not only do we shine in the light of Christ, but we reduce the operating space of evil. That's not an unimportant corollary, by the way. And that makes us CBMC men, that makes us powerful forces in 2023 and 2024. I'm telling you, brothers, it's mind-blowing what happens. Not only when you begin to walk out a life transformed in your family, but in your workplace. When every man here has a sphere of influence, can you imagine when those spheres begin to cross? And all of a sudden, he's walking out his faith. He's standing for what is righteous. He's standing against what is corrupt, right? You ever heard the term salt and light? I'm creating a new initiative for 2024 across the planet, a movement of salt and light. We are going to be hindrances to corruption and champions of what is right. And let the cards fall where they may. Just sharing kind of my heart for the Lord, because we've just been given limited time on earth, right? Just limited time. And there's an expectation upon our life. Every breath that we draw is a gift. And so there's an expectation that comes with that we would take all the passions and gifts and influences that we've been given and not use it to gather and heap, but to sow and reap.